Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Connor,
And I'm RangRoo at low.
and folks, it is Tuesday, which means that it's time for some more Steel Division Season 2. Now, today, on that beautifully open map of Carpiquet Duelists, Rang, who do we have duking it out from the Asia Veteran Division?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have ourselves Pot, also known as Oceans, playing as the 2nd Infantry Division. And on the right-hand side in red, we have ourselves Harry Spider as the Paris Division. And I just want to make sure what time you're at. Con?
Yeah, 310 right now.
310, cool.
Alrighty.
311?
Indeed.
13,
Yep, 14, 15,
cool.
yeah.
I just had to go in the options, but nonetheless, let's get
All
to the game.
Fair enough. All right, folks, that was a little bit of extra accounting for you. We are doing the whole Sesame Street thing here today. But we have two infantry divisions. So, infantry, obviously lots of foot. Here's the question, though.
Yeah.
Armored vehicles early on. We have the DD tanks, and we have the Pumas over here for Großfestung. Who has the advantage?
I'd say it's really, yeah, second really has the advantage, as you have the DDs, which are great, and this is a very open map, so tanks are going to be very important. You also have the M7 DDs, which are pretty bloody good, as one up north. And also as well, 2nd Infantry has Ranger support, which are great machine gun teams, which is going to help out. While Paris kind of favors a bit more close quarters combat in the early stages, so they can maneuver around and use, beefy Bavarians all over the place.
That is fair, but here's my question then after that. Yes, the early, as they close the distance, we're definitely going to see the second have some advantage here, and you can see the early breakouts now very passive, I would say, on the south, of course, on both sides.
Yeah.
But as the range closes, should we just see the Harry Spider kind of reach out with all 8 of his legs and try to get in nice and tight, or do you think he's going to stay at range?
I think longer, just throughout as the game goes on, Harry Spider really has an advantage. As way C-face, you can get bloody panthers and tigers, and yeah, it's all really gonna come down to using that Puma, because that Puma is gonna be a real make it or break it. It's gonna be tough to use as there's no Sherman DDs at the moment, but even then, there's AT guns in the field, and Pumas don't like being shot at by AT guns.
Well, and that's the other thing we didn't really talk about either, is that really the AT advantage is still on that American side.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
It's much more consistent, like most things for the Americans compared to Paris Division.
Well, yes, of course. That's pretty easy to be more consistent when the opposing side just has a mishmash of whatever's left.
Yeah.
But, yep, there we go. Ranger Marauders, actually, we didn't even talk about these guys, but these guys, of course, recon optics. They're nice and quiet. They have a lot of stealth. And good lord, can they get close and they just wreck days.
Yeah, they're really bloody good, and you can't go wrong with a 2-star bazooka.
That's true. That's true. It's only barely better than a 2-star Piat, but that's still better.
So up north we got rifles, really all just rifles, no rangers up north. That is an interesting choice. It kind of makes sense. You kind of just want them to run around and be meat shields, and rifles have double the HP compared to rangers. And in the back he has the 76mm gun, he has the M7DD, so he has a pretty good fire support line, and he doesn't have to worry about artillery too much because it's Paris Division. So he's gonna really hold his open ground. So up north we see Harry Spider. He's just slowly chugging along to his L-shape woodland here.
You mean towards his death? Look at this. The Marauders are going to sit there, and oh my gosh, he even has line of sight. First shot almost takes out the Vanguard by itself. That must have exploded right next to that poor vehicle. Off clear, pop on out. No, there is one problem though. If the 2nd Infantry doesn't start with all the Rangers, then how can they lead the way?
You're gonna have to lead the raid with just regular rifles, it seems, and just using their fire support. It's definitely rather interesting. Also, kind of helps him out too, because he can just save him till later game, where you kind of need to have a bit of the edge for 2nd Infantry. But yeah, up north, just got the Bavarians and like a very slow death blob of everything up north. If he can get a Pack 38 in position, he could potentially knock out an M7DD, which would be a pretty big deal.
Very true, but here's the question then. So what's the strategy? What is the Festung trying to do? Is it, I mean, this runs very much counter to conventional wisdom. Instead of pinching out towards the boundaries, it looks like he's trying to curve back around and maybe make a pocket. Does that seem the right read, or?
Yeah, he's like a daddy long legs at the moment, and he's just getting his corner in the room for himself and setting him set himself up to success before he jumps out on the owners and scare the shit out of them.
True, but there's a problem with that analogy, though. The daddy longlegs is not...
Technically a spider.
Well, that too, but I was even thinking more so than that is the fact that the daddy longlegs has two tiny fangs that actually bite human beings. So...
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess he has like a black widow as a best friend, helping out too. Like his J-Runny,
Oh yes, here we go.
And it's not gonna kill much, but it's gonna definitely scare the crap out of that DD. He really does not like that DD. That makes sense. And here's the Pack 38. Oh, it's a perfect follow-up shot.
There we go.
Boom! That's bang on for Paris Division.
Well, the nice thing about this, too, is that the 76mm has wasted a lot of its ammunition on these infantry squads to the east, and that's not going to do a whole lot.
Nope.
As you can see right now, firing after the last round, one more round. Yeah, he's got one more round, and then it's going to basically be just krauts from here all the way back to the buffet.
Yeah, it's just a 17-pounder now.
Yes, it is. You know, down to the south, we are seeing surprisingly aggressive play. I say surprisingly because, of course, as always, we usually just seem to see, well, a lot of passivity. A lot of players don't want to go and get connected on those multiple different fronts. And wow, we're actually seeing some short fire coming out of that one mortar, so that was a little strange.
Mm-hmm. This is pretty good. I mean, this is during the classic send the infantry in front, the smart start as his lone Puma does most of the damage. There is 107mm mortars getting some good hits. Forcing out a 50mm mortar to stop shooting. Damn, that one shot completely scared that Bavarian squad. That is pretty deadly.
Well, speaking of 107s, look at the north as well, because that one mortar has completely and totally stoppered up that push.
He's got the newspaper.
Yes, he does.
And he's just crossing them from above.
Well, I was trying to think of an Ocean's 11 comment here, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. I'm sure we'll get one of those soon.
Yeah.
Down to the south of the first of the DD tanks thing is that Puma still up? Yes, it is. And that 57mm is very much out of range. Which means that Puma has, well, I would say the run of the field.
Yeah, he has pretty good... Yeah, he's definitely has a run of the field. He can... I mean, the nice thing about the Puma is lovely mobility, so he can just kind of run around here and there and get some shots off. We do have a DD tank coming in down south, so maybe he can position himself in like his more middle area and try to get a flank on the DD, because in a head-on fight, even though it has advantage, it's not exactly an ideal scenario.
Frankly, I feel like none of the Axis divisions though really have any sort of ideal situation in early vehicle engagements.
Second Panzer?
Okay, that's true. Maybe one.
You got two Panzer IVs. It's weird for Axis because like A phase is all like really light vehicle play. For the most part, it's only like what, second Panzer Division that has like some stuff, and you got like Trophy S and also First SS. Where Trophy S has like the mean Firefly, and First SS actually has like some Stoogs, but it's all about using like AT guns and like Pumas and light vehicles and just trying to, you know, like ghost of it essentially. You're pretty much playing Rommel in France 1940 for the majority of Axis A phase, or you're literally just playing the French 1940 in A phase with some Axis infantry divisions.
There's a whole lot of analogies. I wasn't sure I was going to follow all about.
Yeah, there's a lot of analogies too. I think I'm going to need an analogy if we have a whole analogy.
And your metaphor is a little bit rambling, to be fair. 76mm, by the way, to the north does take out one of the approaching IG-18s, or at least took out the truck, kind of bringing it along, and some of the ATs actually going down. I imagine the Ranger Marauders to the north, yep. Nope, never mind, wow, that was the 76mm.
Oh, he's in a ration of the rifles and get the surrender. Oh no, there's a leader unit nearby, so they're not going to run away.
Which is a good thing, considering, by the way, the Harry Spider does have nearly a +2 here. But he's expending an awful lot in the way of resources to grab it, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost quite a bit of infantry, but like Bavarians and land shooters are pretty expendable, to be honest. You can just kind of like, you know, throw them away. I mean, once you face it, he's got like panic grenadiers, which are going to be the real mainstay. But down in the south is really rare, you know, where the money is being made. as he has the hangers, he has the Puma in a lovely spot, as they can just kind of like shoot anything that comes close and then just back up behind the tree line. He just needs, I mean, he's going to be B-phase shortly, but he just needs some...
Oh, look at that smoke. That was beautiful.
That's a good smoke. Really does not like our Puma. Understandable.
Well, he would have had eyes on those Ranger Marauders in just about a second and a half, and he would have been able just to completely, totally wreck them.
Yeah.
Now forced to give ground. Will these field gendarmerie see them? Probably not. Nope. Probably not.
Oh, the Bavarians are, and they're getting in close.
Yep. Yeah. He had to know there was something else coming in.
Yeah.
Puma, in the meantime, decides to start throwing away some blood up to the north. DD tank, oh wow, he's almost out of 50 cal already. And the Bavarians, yeah, the Bavarians are not going to take any of that line down. Well, 45 seconds away from that phase B, what are we going to be looking at? Well, other than the 188 coming back in to just completely and totally Shrek the north.
Oh yeah, let's see that happen. For 2nd Infantry, more tanks, more infantry, probably some heavy artillery pieces. For Paris, it's all just, you know, everything, essentially. Just a little bit of everything, you know.
Now,
you really just need the long-range weaponry, hopefully like a mortar run, pack track, or something along those lines.
Well, one thing he definitely needs for sure is another anti-tank gun or something to the north, because that's the other DD tank coming on in, so there's no more vehicles, really, for the Americans. Oh, Pack 40s here in the south, okay. Just barely out of range, though, from...
Oh, they get a Pack 40 in A-phase, don't they?
Yes, they do.
I completely forgot about it. That's actually a pretty good AT weapon to have an A-phase.
But past that, not very much. Now we are into Phase B, and we have both Martyr 1s and Martyr 3s coming in. In fact, we have a brace of them coming to the north. Yeah. Which is 100% necessary.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need them. And using these longer-range AT vehicles is... I mean, he needs them. He doesn't get very much. It's like 1 Martyr 3, 1 Martyr 1, a pack track, and I believe that's really it. I mean, you can get like a Sturgeon Panther 4, but they're not going to be all that useful on this type of map.
And meanwhile, there's more DD tanks coming on in for the Americans here. Now, rifles to the north, I continue to be surprised that we are not seeing any Ranger play.
Same. I mean, even just like having a range to support. I mean, okay, it's a Ranger show being brought in up north, but that's like a range to support unit, just, you know, backing up the rifles definitely help out, especially considering these Bavarians actually taking pretty good ground and fighting tooth and nail up north.
I keep waiting for this command car to get blown up by the IG-18. It's like a scene out of like a bad spy movie.
It's like they shoot the spy, but all the guards miss because they're terrible henchmen.
Well, it's like plot armor, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We have another 188. The 188's been going hot and heavy consistently here. He's using that pretty much on cooldown all the time, and I have to say, it's working rather well. He's definitely keeping the Americans at bay, stressing things out completely, and the entire Kampfgruppe, to use the German term for it, the Americans just it can't go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the lovely thing about Paris. You can get a lot of those 188s, and they're so good at just stopping a push. They've been nerfed a little bit since, well, rightfully nerfed, because getting 1 per minute was a bit ridiculous. But they're still a really good aeroplane to just rip out, because, you know, you're being pushed from flank. You just bring in the Ju-188. He solves all your problem. He's like flex tape. You just slap it on and those everything.
We'll call him the Teflon Avenger. How about that?
Teflon Avenger.
There we go. Another Pack 40 coming in the south. Definitely looking to keep back that Sherman, and it looks like the Puma is trying to get eyes on, but the smoke's keeping him out of sight for right now. Instead, he's going to content himself by throwing rounds downrange at that mortar team.
There's a lot of like smoke back and forth on his southern side. Was that the 50mm smoke in the Sherman?
Yes, it was. And he's actually completely out of ammunition. He's got nothing left. So that is a great mortar right there. If you run out of munitions for both sides, that's ideal.
That's a good problem to have.
Meanwhile, to the North, Ranger Assault might go and completely push back this entire shove by himself. Then realizes that being outnumbered, 3 or 4 to 1 is probably not the healthiest place to be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the M38. He's gonna take him on the flank. Here we go. Get in there. Get in there. Yes, he's got him. He's in right behind him.
Oh yeah, he's buggered. GG.
There we go.
Down south, the Puma's getting some shots off on the DD tank. Oh.
Tracks and wheels.
Yeah, the armor of DD is a little bit too thick for Mr. Puma here. Oh wow, never mind. There we go.
Oh, so he's only 600 meters away. He should be able to destroy that.
Oh, that's only 600. Okay, I thought that was a little bit farther. But damn, that's a good kill. And is he gonna push now?
Nah, I'd pull back. Oh. You have to know there's more tanks coming on in, and almost as if he's realizing that already. Wait, weapons jammed. How'd that weapon? Oh, Martyrs to the north. Never mind.
Oh yeah.
It's so weird seeing the Martyr 1. I'm so used to seeing that silhouette for the Martyr 3.
It's such a like funky, goofy looking unit. If you zoom in the Martyr run, it's like playing with big head mode on and like
DK, yeah,
like DK or something like that. It just doesn't look natural.
No, it does not. Yeah. No, it does not. Excuse me, I had to kind of clear my throat there for a second.
It's cool.
Whew. Alrighty. Sorry about that, folks. But the Hummel's coming on in, of course, so there's a tune to be sung, and he is ready to go. We have more recon coming in as well. I don't know if the recon's being brought in because they want the half tracks, or if he just wants to bring in some more eyes. I can't imagine it's for the eyes.
Yeah, I think he definitely needs some eyes on. And also they contain Spar troops, 2-star Spar troops, which are pretty decent infantry in fighting on open ground, because they have to have a proper machine gun.
The Lander shoots in over here, by the way, right by that center DD tank. They're waiting for the whites of their eyes.
Yeah. And
they get it. Good Lord knows they're not going to be there very long.
Ooh. If they only had AT grenades.
Oh, wait. Boot. Oh, my gosh. The Puma's down, but the Pac 40 takes out a second DD tank to the south.
Oh, damn.
So there's no Puma. And Landesschützen. Okay, he's just trying to slow him up. Okay, this kind of makes sense. It's a little bit unwieldy, and there's another 188 strike to push back the Sherman.
Oh, actually.
Oh no, he's got the 76, isn't he?
Yeah, but here comes Gabby.
I hate that guy.
Oh, come on, Gabs. Oh, the CA-88's firing back. Yes, he has a pretty decent defensive element for Bomber in this game, but I think Gabby's gotten.
No, unless there's some strange miracle, the 188's going down.
Oh. There we go. Gabby claims another.
That'd
be a time to invest in AA.
Yeah, that was the first thing I was going to say. The second thing I was going to say, though, is that I kind of feel like the models for the fighters are a teensy bit big. Maybe I'm a little wrong on that.
P-47 is like a massive aircraft. Like it's a really big aircraft, the P-47.
Okay, fair enough then. Pac 40 in the south, of course, taking shots from that 107. Supply ducts coming in to get those mortars back on the field. And the same way the 188s were keeping the Gross Paris up and ready to go, the same thing is happening for the 2nd Infantry. That's the only thing keeping Oceans on riding on high tide.
Yeah, but what's happened is Oceans has lost the range advantage. His DD tanks can't, they can't fight Martyrs at 1.2 kilometer ranges. I think in B phase you can get Wolverines for 2nd Infantry. I'm fairly certain.
It's only a couple of them though. I think it's only a 2-card.
But yeah, definitely be something you'd need on a map like this. You'd need all the Wolverines on a map like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure Hugh Jackman really wants to be out here right now, though. Looks like one more shot for this Pac 40. Oh, no, he's not going to get that tank just yet. Oh. But there's a Shrek team right there. So if they can push back these rifles, that Shrek team's going to go in, and it's going to be a very, very dead Sherman.
If the Kriegsmarine Führer can actually fire. There we go.
Oh, for that matter, too, there's that Martyr 3 is right there. Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't really feel like we see the Kriegsmarine very often.
No, we don't. It's always so funny because, you play like a World War II game, and like a game like this, like, alright, cool, I'm going to use Kriegsmarine Infantry, says no one ever. But Steel Division has that, and it's actually a pretty viable unit. I know, it's just so funny. Like, I can't think of any other game that has, like, Kriegsmarine Infantry in it. Maybe, like, some close combat mod, but I can't think of anything, man.
Wait, are they going to try to kill the tank, or are they going to try just to force a surrender? Because that'd be hysterical.
The surrounding the tanks is
ROAs.
Yeah.
Say hello from the Russian front. He's taking him out, and good lord. I didn't even see this. Spider's got a +3. I would not be surprised if we see a very, very quick tap out. Yeah. There are barely any tanks left for the Americans. There's barely any anti-tank as well. So the guns are going down. That is one of them. That's true. But the Opal Blitz is coming on in, and I think that's another ROA squad.
Yeah, most likely.
Yep. And those guys are sick nasty at this range.
Yeah, what really happened to Oceans or Potts is he just did not hold that range advantage, and now the Hummels in the field, 76mm guns, which is this one, True Hope, are pretty much useless, as the Hummel doesn't care. It just blows you up if you have no armor. And even if you do have armor, the Hummel will try and blow you up, because that's what the Hummel does.
I like how the 188 comes onto the field and immediately retreats. What a brave man.
Yeah. He's just popping in, seeing how the war was going.
Oh yeah, one little quick run.
He dropped the bombs, before he reaches back to base and said, yes, he's done his job.
Yeah, I was in the combat zone. I get combat pay.
I counted the combat flight. I can put it on my logbook.
But yes, 2-1 KD in favor of the Hairy Spider, and that picture is very unsettling to me.
That is definitely a very hairy spider.
And, Potts, in the meantime, well, let's just say he never had a friend like him.
Yeah, looking at the kills, I mean, really major damage dealer was the 76 and the mortar, but I'm really surprised Potts didn't manage to kill that much. I mean, really, the big kills was the 188 Marder and Puma, which really accounts for half the points.
Yes.
Stuff. And looking at losses, the Puma did pretty good. Killed 1 DD, which is definitely a pretty good kill on a map like that. And pretty shared, apart from that. And, just really B-phase Paris went pretty strong, and you have that open ground and open ground engagement advantage.
Open gowns indeed. What was her name, Rang?
Open ground. Words are hard. They're very hard. But I'm sure you can get Wolverines and B-phase for 2nd Infantry. I might be wrong, but Potts just needed something a bit extra to help him out in the open ground.
That sounds about right. But folks, what we are going to do is we're going to call this one quits for right now, so Rang can find his tongue and I can stop tripping over it. We'll be back on Thursday, I think, we'll go into the European Veteran Division. But more of that in a couple of days. So for right now, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm RangRoo. Take it easy.